Denby is Welsh for Little Fort. This site, high above the small village, was an Iron Age and Roman fortress before Llewellyn the Great built a Welsh fortress here in the year 1230. Llewellyn's brother, David F. Gruffydd, formed a truce with Edward I of England and used Denby as his place of residence beginning in 1277. But in 1282, David rebelled against Edward I, and the castle was destroyed, and David became the first recorded person to be hung, drawn, and quartered. Edward then commissioned Henry de Lacy to build the fortress we see today and the town below it. A Welsh revolt led by Madog ap Llewellyn was put down in the year 1294, and the current castle was completed in 1305. A unique feature of this castle made it almost impervious to attack. The main gatehouse was buttressed with 3 octagonal towers and a drawbridge that gave defenders excellent opportunities to repel invaders. The castle withstood attacks in 1400 by Owen Glendower and again in 1460 during the Wars of the Roses. Charles I stayed here briefly in September of 1645 during the Civil War, while the castle was held by Royalists. However, the castle fell to parliamentarian forces the next year after a 6-month siege. When Charles II was restored to the crown in 1660, the castle was abandoned and allowed to fall into decay. This arched wall is all that remains of St. David's Church. Construction of the church was abandoned in 1588. Denby was a walled town. This gate marks the beginning of a 1-mile walk along a section of wall that still remains. However, the gate is locked and you have to get a key from one of the shops in town. Before Edward I invaded Wales in 1282, an abbey sat at the mouth of the Conwy River. Edward captured the abbey in March of 1283, moved it 8 miles up the river, and began construction of the current castle here at Conwy. Construction was completed in 1287 and included the town walls that will be covered later. The castle is divided into an inner and outer courtyard called wards. The inner ward housed the garrison of soldiers who were charged with defending the castle. The outer ward, which was much larger, had living quarters for the royal family. Part of the royal apartments, this great hall was used to entertain guests. Due to its rocky hilltop location, double walls were not needed at Conwy for protection. Any good castle had to have an up-to-date dungeon. The wards are guarded by 8 towers and 2 gates called barbicans, and a 3rd gate allowed resupply from the sea. In the year 1399, King Richard II sought refuge in the castle from the forces led by the future King Henry IV. Another part of the royal chambers was the King's Court, where the king would receive guests. Three bridges cross the Conwy River. The left one is for cars, the right one for trains. The middle bridge, that allows pedestrian traffic, was constructed by Thomas Telford, who designed the Caledonian Canal in Scotland. You get a great view of the castle from the top of the King's Tower, which is the highest point in the castle. The Welsh took temporary control of the castle during a rebellion in 1401. It played only a minor role in the Wars of the Roses. King Henry VIII used it as a prison during the 1520s. And during the English Civil War, it was captured by Cromwell's forces after an extended siege. The town walls of Conwy were completed in 1287 as part of the castle construction. A complete circuit of the walls is less than 1 mile. You pass through 21 towers and 3 gatehouses. You get good views of the town, the river, and the castle while walking the walls. We exited the walls right beside a fish and chips place and had lunch there. And on the way back to the car, we purchased pastries for a snack for tonight. We found a beach area along the coast near our B&B. There were many families out swimming and flying kites. Vicky just had to get her feet wet in the Irish Sea. We struck up a conversation with a group of 8 fathers who were having a great time with their kids. After a relaxing time, we drove to our B&B and arrived at the same time as a couple from New Mexico. We had a lively conversation with the owner before his wife arrived home from the market.